Time to party. Absolutely, yeah.
That Al is one foxy gal.
Absolutely, yeah. That's me. Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
She's a boss, and that ain't no floss, cause she's dripping with that spicy Al sauce. Wife, mother of a baby boy, and after 14 years, she's still a greatest boy.
That's right,
Brilliant,
baby.
resilient, passionate, and savvy. Ooh, that Al is such a baddie. Singer-songwriter, political fighter, trendsetter, ain't nobody better.
She's smooth, she's cool, breaks all the rules.
Show to y'all.
Joyous, gorgeous, always victorious. Can't lie, she's fly, so sister ride or die. Who y'all talking about? Absolutely, yeah.
And now for the star of our show, wife, mom, best-selling author, singer, songwriter, stage play producer, cooking diva, and the queen of quarantine, Allison Randall Berewa.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to another segment of the Absolutely Al Show. I am so excited, and I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. Why am I so excited? Because I'm an author, and I have the queens of Black Lit in the house tonight. Can't help but be excited. Can't even hardly contain myself. Who do we have? So glad you asked. We have the legendary, undisputed, crown queen of Black romance, Miss Brenda Jackson. Yes. She's a New York Times bestseller, USA Today bestseller, and NAACP Image Award nominee, and she is here tonight. We also have another queen. Oh, yes, we do. She's the queen of street lit, celebrated, from sea to shining sea, Miss Wahida Clark. She's also a publisher, y'all, so you can't miss it. You can't miss it. Okay? And we also have the queen of crime lit and legal thrillers. She's an attorney and an NAACP Image Award winner, Miss Pamela Samuels Young. Yes, they are all here. I'm pinching myself, trying to make sure I'm not dreaming. It's really real tonight. And we'll have the book critic duo of Mr. Robert White and Miss Diane Rembert. You don't want to miss it, so listen. While we pay some bills, go get your snack, go get your drink, call a few buddies, text them. Hey, tag people right up underneath in the comments section. Let them know that we have royalty in the house on the Absolutely Al Show, and they don't want to miss it. We'll see you in a minute with our first guest, who will be Miss Pamela Samuels Young. Stay tuned now, y'all. Come on. Hey y'all, are you watching the show regularly? Do you tell friends about us? If you do, you know, you could be fan of the month. Yes, you can. It's simple. Just show up for every show every Friday night at 10 o'clock. Talk, leave comments, share, tag, and we'll notice you sooner or later because we are looking for someone who supports us in our endeavor to inspire, educate, and entertain during the global pandemic. That's how we came to be. Now, our first fan of the month has already been chosen. Oh, she showed up every Friday night and she invited friends, tagging and sharing along the way. She is Marcia Waller of Macon, Georgia. She followed the show so well that she got a job with us. Yeah, she's digging. She's a chocolate diva now. So, if you too would like to be one of Al's pals, fan of the month for the Absolutely Al show, come and watch us every Friday night. Comment, let us know how you feel about the show, share and tag with friends, and you'll get our attention. Thanks. Hey y'all, I am so excited. So if I'm, just smiling a little bit too much for you, just know that I'm so excited to have the undisputed queen of crime, lit, and legal thrillers in the house at the Absolutely Al show tonight. Who wouldn't be excited about that? Who am I talking about? None other than NAACP Image Award winner, Miss Pamela Samuels Young.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much for being here. Let's just jump right into it. We consider you, and I think everybody in Black literature and probably beyond, consider you a boss in what you write. Your genre is just, it's suspenseful. It makes you think. Just tell us how you started your writing career.
Okay. I have a writing background, mainly in TV news. I was a TV news writer for several years, and then I went to law school. And my release was reading legal thrillers. I love John Grisham, Sheldon Siegel, Scott Turow, and others. And I just remember reading mystery after mystery and not seeing anybody in those books who looked like me. And one day I just decided that I was going to write a legal thriller and it was going to have characters who looked like me. So in my first book, Every Reasonable Doubt, the character is from Compton like me. She was a lawyer at a large firm like me. And people tell me she's a lot like me. And I used to deny it, but I guess I really was writing myself. And so I like to joke and say that I owe my writing career to John Grisham.
Wow. Well, I appreciate the fact that you saw an absence of us in the types of books that you write and that you did something about. A lot of times we see avoiding something, and we don't even have a clue how to make it happen, but you made it happen, and we are so appreciative of it. Tell us how much of what you write is based on maybe a case you might have had in the past or a case that you know about. Take us there.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of that. I do take bits and pieces of real life. The first book I wrote, which wasn't the first book that I got published. The first book I wrote was rejected 1 million times. And then I published Every Reasonable Doubt and rewrote it and got it. And then that was my second book in my first book deal. And it's called In Pursuit. And in real life, I had a case where a guy was accused of grabbing a woman in an elevator. And he was fired and sued the company for a discrimination, claiming he didn't do it. Right, and that was the first case that I had ever tried. And no, I think it was the second case, but and I used that as kind of a back. But in the mystery It's uncertain whether, because the guy in real life claimed he had set up. So the company set me up. I didn't grab that woman. But at the trial, the jury was out, I don't know, not even an hour or something. They came back guilty by finding that, finding that the company was not liable. I think he did it. I had no reason to make up that story about what he did. And I can remember during the discovery phase, and I would talk to people who knew him, like, oh yeah, I heard this, that, and the other. And, where there's smoke, often there's fire. So in the book, I flipped the script, and maybe, you got to read it to find out, but maybe the guy was set up and maybe he wasn't. And that was the book In Firm Pursuit.
Now, I know it's going to be a hard question because it's probably like choosing which is your favorite baby. But right now, what do you consider your favorite book that you've written?
It was Anybody's Daughter, which won the Image Award, but it really is my most recent book, Failure to Protect, which kills me because it's the one that's least known. It's about a little girl who's bullied at school, and it examines an epidemic that we are not talking about right now, that we're not giving stuff enough attention. But on Christmas Day 2018, a friend of mine who lives in Marion, Alabama, sent me an article about two Black girls. They were both 9 years old, different communities, who had taken their own lives, due in part to bullying. And I remember reading those articles and and both of the girls hung themselves. How does a 9-year-old know how to hang herself? And I remember thinking about it all night, because they're cute little faces. And as a matter of fact, I kept their pictures on my desk when I was writing that book. And the next morning, it was still on my mind, and I sort of Googled bullying and child suicide. And it stunned me that every story that came up, everyone with a kid under 12 was African American. Over 12, they were generally Caucasian. And it's like, why are our kids hanging themselves? And they all hung themselves. And nobody was talking about this. And so I began to research it. I was so lucky to run across psychology. There was a professor at Howard University who agreed to read the manuscript, another professor at New York University who agreed to read the manuscript and help me through and help me communicate it right. But there's a lot going on with our children. I mean, who knows when they're going to get back to school now, but that is a book that I wanted people to think about the subject. And I started the book thinking bullying causes suicide, childhood suicide, and that wasn't the case. I learned over the course of my research that it's childhood depression. We need to look at childhood depression. We think about depression in adults, but we don't give it any credence. We don't give it much credence in adults. People still say, "Oh, get over it, you whatever." And so it's a book that I did a lot of research for. It's a book that I have really good characters that I love. There's a character you love to hate, because the villain is a principal who is more concerned about her school's reputation than dealing with bullying in her school. So I think it's a really captivating legal thriller, and I hope everybody who's listening checks it out.
Say the name of the book.
Today it's free. I'm not, it's not going to work today because today is going to be another day, huh? But I'm going to offer more free days for the book on Amazon.
Say the name of the book again, please.
It's called Failure to Protect by Pamela Samuels Young. Failure to Protect.
Wow. Okay, Ms. Young, before we let you go, I know a lot of aspiring authors. And a lot of times, I know how much research I put into my writing. I mean, especially, the law, medicine, and religion. I always make sure that my facts and my statistics are accurate. And I'm an editor, too. And a lot of times when I'm editing books, a lot of times it's just because we write fiction, I always say we can't negate reality. Can you give a little bit of advice to aspiring authors about honing in on their craft and making sure that their information is accurate, although the storyline is fiction. Can you just give us a little?
That is so important, because people think they can just put it out there. And then when they get bad reviews, they're upset because nobody's buying the book. You have to do the work beforehand. You know, the first book that I wrote, sat down to write, what I said was In Firm Pursuit, that I had to rewrite. Well, I sat down, I'm a lawyer. I was like, I can write a book. And I just sat down and started writing. I knew nothing about plotting and structure. And when that book kept being resoundingly rejected, I went back and said, okay, what am I doing wrong? I took a one-day writing course at UCLA, and the guy said something to me that I'd never thought about. He said, take a book that's like yours and outline it. I took the quintessential legal thriller, John Grisham's The Firm, and I went through the book, I read it again, and I outlined it chapter by chapter. And it was a light bulb moment for me, because I could see how the story came together, and I began to understand plotting. Somebody gave me my first James Patterson book, Roses Are Red. I read it in one day. I am not a very fast reader, but I got through that book. How did I get through that book in one day? I went back and looked at it structurally. You have to master your craft, because you can put out, I know people putting out lots and lots of books. They're not getting many sales, or they may get a few sales, but people aren't going to buy the next book because they weren't satisfied with the first book. So you have to make your books good enough that people say, wow, I want to read something else she wrote. And there's so many resources on the web. There are way more. My first book was published in 2006. There's so much more. You don't even have to go to a writing conference. I think you should, but I went to a lot of writing conferences, spent a lot of money trying to learn, but you can just Google it, find what you need. There's no excuse. And also you need beta readers. And you need beta readers who are not your mama and your sister. You need people, you know what? Give the book to a friend, tell her to take it to somebody at work that doesn't know you, that she knows, who is not going to be afraid to tell you that the book sucks. Because you need to hear that. Even when I wrote Failure to Protect, when I gave it to my beta readers, half were like, okay, I like it. And half were like, no, maybe three or four were like, okay, it's not your best. But then there were three who said, here's what needs to change, right? I went back through, made those changes, and I could see it. And right now, Failure to Protect is my highest rated book. It's my slowest selling book. I wonder if it's because of the topic or whatever, but it's my highest rated book. So even now, with 14 plus books in my record, I still have to rewrite and make it better. When I finish a book, it is not done. When I finish that draft, the first draft is just my skeleton. I may go through 4, 5, 6 times, or as many times as I need to make it better.
Did you hear that, aspiring authors? The queen said, do your homework, your research, and also do not scare away from critics and not people, not your mama, your auntie. Get somebody who does not know you, who's not afraid to give you the truth. Thank you for that valuable information. Thank you for that valuable advice. I need it. I try to follow that as a pattern, and I've done well with it. But there are other authors or people who are thinking about diving into the industry who needed to hear that. And I think that you have enough credibility to really give us that, and we appreciate it. So thank you for coming. Thank you so much for coming. But one more thing. What are we expecting from you next? What is on tap for you?
I have been working on I want to write some romance or some contemporary fiction, and I've been reading a lot. So I'm learning. I'm reading a lot of it, learning the formula. A lot of people don't know I also write under the name Sassy Sinclair. Unlawful Desires and Unlawful Seduction. They're a little spicy, so if that's too much for you, don't touch it. And I'm also working on a book with Dwayne Alexander Smith, who wrote 40 Acres. We are jointly writing a mystery, and I'm really excited about that. So hopefully if we can get it together, it should be out later this year. So that's what I'm about.
We have something to look forward to, and I'm excited because you have a lot of fans, and I have lawyer friends. Being the daughter of a retired judge, I know a lot of lawyers, and they read you. And when I told them you were coming on, they were, how did you hook her? I say favor. Chocolate Diva Factory has favor with God because you are here. So that's the evidence that we need. Like I said, thanks for coming by. It was a pleasure. It was our esteemed pleasure to host you on our platform. And you have a home here whenever you want to come back. Call me up.
I'm gonna call you when Dwayne and I finish the book. We're gonna come do a joint appearance.
Oh, thank you. We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting.
Hi, this is Pamela Samuels Young, the queen of legal thrillers. You can reach me at my website, PamelaSamuelsYoung.com. Email me at AuthorPamelaSamuelsYoung.com. Hit me on Facebook at Pamela Samuels Young and Twitter at Author PSY, and on Instagram at Author PSY. Just call me. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, show some love for crime lit queen and legal thriller queen, Miss Pamela Samuels Young.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I spent the last decade of my life bringing hundreds of jobs to Macon Bid. Now, I'm running for mayor to create more opportunities for more people, living wages for those who work with their hands, support for those that educate our children and care for our parents, and jobs for our graduates. I will create access to training, resources for entrepreneurs, and a seat at the table for women and minority businesses. My name is Clifford Whitby, and I'm running for equity, balance, fair play, and opportunity because that's who I am, and that's what you deserve. So on August the 11th, vote Clifford Whitby for Mayor Macon Bid, and let's move Macon Bid forward together.
Cause I got high hopes. Do you want the same?
Hey y'all, we have a masquerade winner and we are so happy to announce this person. Now, just in case you missed it, the Absolutely Al Show had a contest to promote mass awareness and safety during the global pandemic of COVID-19. We asked viewers to send in pictures of themselves, masks that they had designed just for the show. So, we had 3 finalists, and of those finalists emerged a winner in Miss Jenna Morgan of Ellenwood, Georgia. Yes, she is Absolutely Al's first masquerade winner. We're going to keep this process going so you can start sending in pictures. Now listen, don't fill us in no message about from the store. We want custom made, unique masks that you yourself designed for the show. We ask you to bling it out with sequins, lace, string, tie-dye, whatever floats your boat, but make sure it's an original design that you didn't buy from somewhere where it was made in China. So, we want to congratulate Miss Jenna Morgan of Ellenwood, Georgia, for being Al's first masquerade winner. Miss Jenna Morgan, our winner, will make an appearance right here on the Absolutely Al Show with that beautiful mask that won her the prize on August the 7th. So tune in so you can see what it feels like to win $100 just for doing something that you love, something unique, something creative. We want to keep it going because it's still the pandemic and we still need you to wear those masks. So let's make it fun while you're wearing masks. Bling it out, pimp it out, and win $100 here on Absolutely Al.
Feverish Love by Jermaine Solomon. It's hot, y'all. Feverish Love, a sizzling interracial alpha male romance short story. Book 1 of 3 in the Love Under Quarantine series by Jermaine Solomon. Available at Amazon in ebook only, June 1st, 2020.
queen, the queen of street lit, is in the house, and we are so excited and so honored that she's gracing us with her presence. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Who else? None other than Miss Wahida Clark.
Yo, what's up? This is Grandmaster Cass from the legendary Cold Crush Brothers, and I don't know if you noticed about me, but I'm an avid reader. But right about now, my girl Wahida Clark is about to drop Thug 7. Who wanna read it? We do. Nobody penned that thug life like she do. I see you. 6 books in, best-selling series. I know you heard of them, like the thugs and the women that love them joint first out the gate. Then every thug needs a lady, followed by the explosive Thug Matrimony, the joint that had everybody bugging. Then she gave the thugs that was thugging some of that thug loving. Killed them. Next up was Justify My Thug. Had the shorty flipping pages like, why my thug? How she gonna follow that up? I'ma need my fix. Honor Thy Thug became book 6. And so now the highly anticipated new novel is here. Thug 7, another chapter in a stellar career. The official queen of street literature is back. So what you need to do is go and cop that. Thug 7, baby. Peace.
Wow, awesome. Thank you for that passionate, energetic opening. I felt that way over here across the Zoom screen.
Well, I told no lies. Everybody knows that you are the originator, definitely not the duplicate. You are it. There was no real street lit until you came along, and we are so grateful. How many books have you written now?
Well, I just finished one the last couple of days. Came back from the editor. So that would be number 17. 17. And the one that I just finished is called The Virus Brought Me My First Love. So it's a quarantine street tale series. First, and right here, you heard it first, Miss Al. And also the very first in the genre to do such a thing. That's right, the official queen of street lit is getting ready to drop any day now. The first quarantine street tale series based on the pandemic COVID. Romance, keeping it street, it's coming any day now.
I know people out there going crazy. Just hearing you say that, hey, I'm on board. I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that.
Yes, man.
Just like your Thug series, and you will, I mean, years and years after we've left this earth, the people who come behind us will be talking about your Thug series. Tell us how you came up with that Thug series, girl.
That is some awesome stuff right there. Just like I was sitting in that, okay, before I even say that, I remember going to junior high school, 7th grade. On my mother's bookshelf was books by Donald Goins, Dope Fiend, books by Iceberg Slim. While my mom would be asleep in the morning, my girlfriends, go sneak in your mom's room and get the books. So I was sneaking in the room while my mom sleep, you know, the headboard with the bookshelf behind it. So I said, sneak a book, take it to school. We supposed to be in school doing whatever. We in the back of the room reading Dope Fiend and Horse Son and Pimp. Now these things, now what, 1,000 years later, we talking about those was the original street lit books. He was those were the original street lit authors. So I'm honored to hear you say that. But I was in prison when I knew that I had to do something to feed my family. So that was when the revelation came to write. So that's what made me start writing. I was in prison trying to figure out, my husband was locked up. I had 2 teenage daughters out here with relatives. I had just found out in the prison, I had just started serving my federal time because we was in the county jail. Came to do my Fed time, and in the Feds, it costs money to do everything. Money to wash your clothes, money to buy soap powder, money to get your vegetables, money to buy your sneakers. It costs money to be in prison. Then on top of that, if you have a restitution, they want you to pay your restitution while you are incarcerated, and they don't want to hear no excuses. You better call, you don't have that money, you better call home to your family and have them send in that restitution money. Yes, while you are in the federal prison system. So I was in that prison, I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do to make some money? And my job was the law library. I was sitting there one morning, 8 o'clock, the only one in there. And I happened to look, I picked up a magazine. It was a Source. It's a shame I don't remember which book it was. A Source or XXL, and it had a sidebar in there, and it had a picture of this bald-headed brother. His name was Shannon Holmes. It said that he was in prison, and he wrote a book called Be More Careful. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, wow, this brother is in prison. He wrote a book. I said, I'm in prison. Then I'm sitting there, I'm in the library. That was my job. I was a librarian. So I look up and I see all the books on the bookshelves. Then I start visualizing my name, Wahida Clark, on the spines of all the books. And that's when I said, bam, I'm gonna write my book. So thank you, Brother Shannon Holmes. That's my homie.
But Ms. Clark, a lot of people want to write books, and they might have visions and all that. But that was something different about you, because you made it, and I don't think it was happenstance. You have real skill. Your storylines they're genius, one of a kind. So I'm thinking it was just meant for you to write.
Sister, you hit it right on the nose, because I never planned on writing a book. I didn't know I could write. And let me tell you how my God works. Right after I said, okay, I'm going to write a book, it's very shortly after that, there was a piece of paper that went up. A lady, her profession on the street was a literary agent. So what she did was ask the camp administrator, another name for warden, could she give a course on creative writing? So she was granted. So the sheet went up. I signed up for it, took the creative writing course, start doing what I was supposed to do, and started writing. I didn't know I could write. I didn't know how to write. I just know. So my husband, he was an author. He wrote Uncle Yaya, and I told him I went to write a book. And he said, well, here, the only thing they buying from us is some pimping, some hoes, some drugs, some murder. You writing to make money. You got to bring the drama. So that's how I do some Donna Goins, Iceberg Slim type stuff. So that's how I started writing. I had no clue what I was doing. I just knew I had to write because I had to take care of my family and take care of myself. And I knew when I got out of prison, I couldn't be looking for no job. So I had no choice in the matter.
You had no choice in the matter. So you were influenced by your circumstances, but I'm telling you, you were anointed by God. Because I don't care how much somebody wants to write something or do something. Hey, I want to be a swimsuit model. It ain't happening. It's not a part of my destiny. You had something on the inside. That gift was already in you, and it just explodes from the pages. Okay, for the aspiring authors who are, viewing you right now, did y'all hear what she said? She went and took a course. She took the class in prison to perfect the gift that was already inside of her. And the reason why I'm saying that, Ms. Clark, and I think you know why, because a lot of times they resist editing. They want to make it big. They want to hit the New York Times bestsellers list. They don't want to. They resist editing. They don't want to be critiqued. They don't want to hear anything. Hey, tell them. Tell them what. Tell them.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I heard him. He said, if you want to do something or embark on something, study the craft, master the craft, learn the craft. Not only did I didn't stop at taking the prison creative writing course. I started reading books on writing. I started getting the writer's market. There's tons of tools out there. You have to master your craft. Bottom line, there's no getting around it. That's what separates. Bottom line. Being an author, it doesn't just come with writing. Being an author, you have to know the publishing game. Being an author, you have to know about marketing, your clients, your craft. The list goes on and on and on. That's why only a few people.
Correct. Now, publishing. What made you venture off into publishing?
While I was in prison. Once I think I got every thug needs a lady out there, because my books was going throughout the prisons throughout the country, and everyone was reading them, especially in the prisons. I got a real huge following, lots of mad prison love. So other authors inside the prisons, they start sending me their manuscripts. You know, they said, Wahida, you inspire me. I see what you're doing. Check out my manuscript, publish me. So that's how I end up starting my own publishing company. And since I have a wonderful team at home, when I told them that vision that I was inside preparing to do that, I was trying to start it while I was in prison, but I couldn't get it off. But thanks to my team and my husband, when I stepped out to prison, they already had my office set up, everything set up so I can go ahead and step into the publishing company. So that's what made me start the publishing company. I was getting so many manuscripts from other authors, and some of those manuscripts, the ones that I published, was just the bomb. So that's why I started my own publishing company.
Regarding movies,
okay.
What should we expect coming out of your camp, the Wahida Clark camp?
Wow. We're trying to really keep up with everything that's going on. COVID has, first streaming had just changed the game, because now everyone, and even, okay, I listen to Tyler Perry, Oprah, Denzel, all the big dogs, Monique, Ice Cube, everyone talks independence. Own your stuff. Stop running out trying to get this deal that you get all this lump sum up front money and then nothing else on the back end. That's the old way. For the hustlers and the people that's trying to build a legacy to pass down for generations, you have to, it's ownership. Put your stuff out, license it. Own your stuff. Own your stuff. Own your stuff. So that's the key thing. So everything we have, we're packaging up. We got monologue theaters. We have the Queen of Street Lit docu-series. We have the Swag animated series. We have several projects. One of my director, one of my team members, his project goes on Bounce TV November 1st. My Queen of Street Lit docu-series will be advertised in that. He's the leading the project for Bounce TV, Dying to Be Famous.
Bounce TV, y'all keep your eyes and ears open, because we want to support Ms. Clark when that project drops. We want to support you as much as you have entertained and inspired us. We owe that to you. We owe that to you, your fans and viewers alike. We owe that to you, and we're going to support you. So before I let you go, we want to allow you the opportunity to plug in all of your social media, your YouTube, everything, wherever they can find you, all things Wahida Clark.
Absolutely. Well, we got so much going on. The root is Wahida Clark on Instagram, Wahida Clark on Facebook, Wahida Clark on YouTube. We got the queenofstreetlit.com, or just go to my Instagram and click on the link in the bio. There's like 10 different links to 10 different sites, because Team WCP, we got W Clark Distribution. We got the Street Lit House Party that go down live on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook Monday nights from 8 to 10. We done had DJs, Easy Mo B, producer who did a lot of Biggie stuff, Flavor in Your Ear. He DJs for us. We got DJ Tony Touch. We had Rich Medina. We had a sister, Kiss the DJ, the wife of DJ Most. Who else we have? DJ Active, DJ Scratch. We've been blessed to get top billers for our Street Lit House Party. Of course, that was inspired by D Nice. That night that D Nice went live for the world on Instagram. That was the inspiration, because that was such therapy. It was just so therapeutic. And we also have my nonprofit organization, Prodigal Sons and Daughters. So musical therapy. We have a substance abuse, mental behavior health clinic. So music is therapy. So what we do when we stream live on my page, we also stream at the office, and we encourage everybody to join in, because the music is therapy. So that's why we like the during COVID, everything, I don't even have the time, I don't even know what day it is. So everything is Wahida Clark. Just Google, everything will come up. Or go to my Instagram page. That's where I'm at most of the time, on Instagram.
So you heard it. You heard her. She's told you her journey. She's giving you advice, and she told you what she she has in store for us to feed off even more in her books. She has movies and everything coming. Y'all give it to her one more time. The beloved, the celebrated, the legendary, undisputed queen of street literature, Miss Wahida Clark.
Thank you, everybody. Love you all. Thank you. Peace and love.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Adrienne Love, and I'm a proud Soperton native and resident, Morris Brown College, Georgia Tech, and Georgetown Law graduate, and now our candidate for Dublin District Attorney. My Trutland County roots go back 5 generations. Mama, Daddy, and a host of my aunts, uncles, and cousins still live in Soperton, and so do I. My grandfather was John Henry Love Sr., and I grew up working in the tobacco fields on his farm to help buy those things that might have been considered luxuries to a girl like me growing up on a farm in Soperton. On June 9th, I was blessed to make history as the first woman and the first African American to seek and win a party's nomination for district attorney in Lawrence, Johnson, Trutland, or Twiggs County. I am passionate about serving and protecting this community, and with your help, we can start protecting Middle Georgia families and businesses even better and make history on November 3rd by electing one of our own, Adrienne Love, for district attorney. Paid for by the committee to elect Adrienne Love district attorney.
Educators, call them our educators. Where are you? We need teachers, principals, parapros, assistant principals, curriculum directors. Can we have a teacher talk? Everybody's saying what they think is best for our children this fall. Should they go back to school, brick and mortar, or should they do it online, virtually? Let's hear from the teachers. It's time to have a little teacher talk. If you are a teacher, please contact us here at absoluteal.producer@gmail.com. We want to have a show to feature you. We need to hear from you. You are the ones who are going to have to deal with those children, whether it's virtually or in the actual school. So let us hear from you. We want to bring you on to have a little teacher talk. What's up, y'all? You know, whenever you have authors and books, you gotta have somebody to tell us about the book. So who would do that better than this dynamic book duo? We call them around here our book boss. Hey, put your hands together and show some love to Mr. Robert White and Diane P.
Hello, my name is Diane, and I am Diamond's Literary World.
Hi, I'm Robert White. I'm from Robert's Reading Room and Reviews.
And we are here to tell you about 3 books that we have read together and we both felt passionate about and we wanted to share with you. Book number 1 is none other than In My Shoes by Miss Brenda Hampton. Now, if you are not familiar with Brenda Hampton, she is an author, she is an entrepreneur, she is a publisher, but oh my God, what a story In My Shoes has to tell. Rob.
Yes, I love the way it started off with her in the hospital giving labor to the twins. I pretty much laughed through that whole scene where she was in pain, and especially with the white lady that was next to her that was in labor. She was like fussing and cussing and saying her husband, telling him that he wasn't gonna have no more sex with her. She had her ins and outs. I just look at this book that even though you may go through some things throughout life, you can still turn out to be very successful. That's what I get from this book, and I just love it.
I'm just going to tell you some of the issues that were addressed in this book. Brenda talked about abortion, being a single mother, abuse. She talked about just the relationship between mother and daughter. You know, as young women, we have all got to that rebellious stage. And so she talked a lot about that. She talked about her relationship with her sisters. She talks about shoplifting. Like this book, if you know Brenda, to see all the things that she had been through and to leave it all on the pages, it makes you appreciate her as an author, as a storyteller, as a woman, that much more, as a mother, because she was determined that she was going to do all that she had to do in order to provide for her twin daughters, but also she was determined to get an education. And so how she happened to be the Brenda Hampton that we know today is through sheer determination. I think this is a book that every woman should have in there, included in their personal library, just if nothing else, to be inspired. With all of you, do give this book 5 stars. So go and pick up In My Shoes, once again, by my friend, Miss Brenda Hampton.
York City.
Book number 2, we're talking about none other than Miss LaJill Hunt. If you're not familiar with LaJill Hunt, she has written, oh my gosh, I think she said 15 novels, but not only is she an author, LaJill also is a contributing writer on the BET series entitled The Family Business and the BET Plus movie Influence. She's a phenomenal writer. Let's get into Midlife Crisis. Imagine that you are home alone, your husband is off on a business trip. You get a call at like 3-4 o'clock in the morning from the local hospital asking for your husband because he is the emergency contact for this woman that you don't know anything about. 4 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Now, ladies, what would you do? This particular character, what did she do, Robert?
She actually went to the hospital the next morning, and let's just say, without giving away, found what she was looking for, and it just turned her world upside down. That's what I'm gonna say about that. My favorite character in this series is Aunt Connie. Love Aunt Connie because she was like the glue that held the family together. And once you see what happened in this book and what the big secret is, I love how she took care and nourished and was there for that person. I'm just gonna put it that way. I love this book. I'm just gonna say book 2 continues where book 1 picked up. I can't wait for book 3 to come out. It's a must read. It's a page turner.
I have not read book 2 yet. However, I'm still stuck in book 1 because just like Robert, my favorite character is Aunt Connie. We should all have an Aunt Connie in our lives. One who's going to keep it down to earth. She's not going to tell you what you want to hear. She's going to tell you what you need to hear. She was the aunt that if we don't feel comfortable talking to a parent about a situation, you could go to Aunt Connie. She could see a lot of what was going on before anyone had to tell her. Midlife crisis, you find out that your husband is leading a double life, and it is not pretty, and all of the stuff that comes with it. Are we willing to deal with that? Would you be willing to stay and work it all out, or would you just take the easy route and walk away? So we definitely recommend this. Again, 5-star read. Wish we could give it more. This one definitely deserves more than 5 stars. But go check out Midlife Crisis by LaJill Hunt. Now, moving on to book 3. This may be a little controversial for some people, but we love, and we're talking about none other than New York Times bestselling author Kimberla Lawson Roby. Book 15, Better Late Than Never. If you are not familiar with the Reverend Curtis Black, I don't know what else to tell you, okay? Reverend Curtis Black, he put the H.O. in more. He was the perfect example. Curtis Black was sleeping with everybody. But again, remember, this is 15 books of this series. So by book 15, we see where Curtis has been through 3 marriages. He has been shot. You know, legitimate children have come out of the woodwork. He's experienced so much.
My favorite character throughout the whole series was Marissa. She had bipolar because her mother, Charlotte, slept with her father who had bipolar, and what she went through in the book and how she acted out. And it was like at times Charlotte wanted to really get rid of her, but when what happened to Marissa, her heart turned, and the way she felt, it changed Charlotte. In the last book, you saw growth with Curtis. He really changed. For a minute there, I thought that Charlotte was going to go back to her old ways, because Charlotte wasn't no angel. She was getting around and doing her dirt too as well. So their daughter, the teenager, I seen where she was going, and she was going to be a mixture of both of what they used to be. I will say that.
My favorite character, the whore that he was, is definitely Rembert Curtis. Kimberla wrote him in such a way that you were appalled by him. You were disgusted by him. There were points where you hated Curtis. But as he got older and started maturing, as life started hitting him in the face, and I think the transformation was meeting his match in Charlotte, I just felt like she forced him to take a look at the man in the mirror, and he didn't like it. She ran circles around him. She was younger, and she was just more swift. But as we got to book 15, you saw Curtis mellowing out, and you saw the relationship with his mother. And you began to understand why Curtis was the way he was, and why certain characteristics began to show their ugly face. It all came together in book 15, and I think that she did a phenomenal job, and I loved it. And that's why, to me, book 15 will always be my favorite book in this series.
Book 15, yes. Out of all of the books, book 15 was very emotional for me. I cried because of the situation with his sister and what happened. That really broke, because I experienced that in my personal life with my mom and my grandma, so I understood where he was coming from, and I'm glad that they got together and had closure. I love it.
Absolute 5-star as well.
There you have it, y'all. 3 5-star books from 2 book bosses. Mr. Robert White.
Hello, I'm Robert White. I'm the book critic and the founder of Robert's Reading Room and Reviews. You can find me on Facebook, which is Robert's Reading Room and Reviews Reading Group. My YouTube is Robert's Reading Room and Reviews, and also Instagram is Robert's Reading Room. Thank you.
And Ms. Diane Rembert.
I'm Diane Rembert, book critic and founder of Diamonds Literary World, LLC. You can find me on Facebook under Diane Rembert, also Diamonds Literary World, LLC, on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You can also find me as Diamonds Literary World. Now, if you want to email me, you can email me at www.diamondsliteraryworld.com or diamondsliteraryworld@gmail.com.
Go check those books out. You've heard it from them. Thanks for coming, guys.
Welcome to Royalty Love Creations Incorporated, where we serve as your one-stop shop. We specialize in graphic design of any kind. We assist in event planning, serving as coordinator or host. We provide business essentials and original stationeries for companies and entrepreneurs. We build appealing and professional websites. We specialize in marketing on social media. RLCinc Cinema covers video editing and provide appealing visuals and realistic sound effects. We format, custom design, and mass produce DVD and CD packages of your footage or audio for distribution. serves as a performing arts professional specializing in playwriting and script editing, and fully equipped to provide all theatrical related services. We direct and produce stage plays, short films, music videos, and much more. We write and perform songs to fit any mood or occasion. Please follow us on social media. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share our website with your friends. Looking forward to serving you soon.
And now, Al's pals in social media for the moment we've all been waiting for. The legendary, undisputed, queen of black romance, Miss Brenda Jackson.
Hello, Allison. How are you?
I am so much better having you in my presence. Before my eyes, virtually, I am in heaven.
Oh, thank you
so much for coming to the Absolutely Al show. Everybody who knows me, my parents and all my siblings and cousins included, know that you are my favorite author and have been since 2000. And it's an honor. And I'm not gonna cry. I promise you I'm not. I'm just glad that you are here.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm honored to be here.
So let's jump in.
Yeah.
Let's just jump in. Okay. So for many, many years, you worked for State Farm.
Yes. Yes.
And you
37 years.
Remarkable. And during that time, you began to write as a hobby.
Yes.
And you did it simultaneously for a while.
Right. Right. I've written about 50 books before when I retired from State Farm. I had written 50 books. I had made the New York Times, BET. I had made the USA Today, and I'm still working at State Farm. My coworkers are asking me, what are you doing here? State Farm was good to me. They were able to incorporate my career as a management person with my writing career. And a lot of companies won't do that. They would send me to Black Expos under the name banner of State Farm, and they would set up book signings. They would send me where they was the co-sponsor of a lot of the collegiate activities like HG, the college footballs, historically Black colleges. They would co-sponsor them, and they would also put me on the program. So they helped benefit my career, and I helped benefit theirs. But they wanted diversity.
So I understand now, and fans obviously right now understand why you couldn't quite let it go. But
right.
When you did, how did things change regarding your writing?
Wow. I had more time to write. It was hard because I always wanted corporate America. I wanted to go to college after high school, and I wanted to work in corporate America, which I did. Writing was an afterthought. It was something I did for fun. And I would write to entertain. In high school, I wrote to entertain my classmates. As an adult, I wrote to entertain my husband, and I wrote to entertain my coworkers. And so it was never thought that I would be a full-time author. I just wanted to be Miss State Farm, to move up the corporate ladder as high as I could with State Farm. But I would go to my class reunions, and classmates would ask, did you ever write that book? So I wrote the first book, really to shut them up, to say, yes, I wrote the book. But then when I did write the book, they said, now you need to get it published. So then that's when I struck out to get the book published. So when I retired, and because I had a schedule, I would get up 3 o'clock every morning and write. When some people, I would get up at 3. And I didn't have to be to work at least by 8 o'clock because I was in management, so I didn't have to hit the time clock. But I told myself if I could write at least until 7 that morning before I went to work, that I would be okay. Then in the afternoons, after I took care of my family, before I went to bed, I edited what I wrote that morning. And that's how, and I was the queen of, if anything, the queen of time management. So that's how I was able to do both. Retiring helped me basically take away that piece where I had to get up in the morning. But I still, for at least 2 years after retirement, I was on that same schedule, even though I didn't have a job to go to. That's why the year after I retired, I think I pulled out as many as 10 new books in 1 year. And now in 2010 or 2009, I put out 10 new books because I was home every day and that's all I did, wrote. And my husband retired with me so he could help me write, not write do what needed to be done around the house. So I didn't have to worry about the laundry, the cooking, and all of that, all the errands. He did it all so I could write full time.
God bless the late Mr. Gerald Jackson, because
that's my baby. That's my baby.
You all were high school sweethearts at William H. Raines High School in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yes.
And we loved following you all's your love affair, your marriage, because it was an example to all of us. And we all grieved with you when Mr. Jackson died because we felt like we knew him as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we were grateful that he allowed you to write because you are an inspiration. I love the Madarises, the Westmorelands, the Grangers. Everything you wrote was just incredible. I would remember when you were writing for Arabic, BT, I would wait for my box of books to come. Every time I knew a book was coming out, I would just wait, for that delivery. And honey, you couldn't tell me anything. So I'm just grateful for that.
Thank you.
What advice can you give to aspiring authors? And I'm going to say it like this. Everybody thinks that it's so easy just to throw a story together. But I know as an author, it requires research, just an overall study of whatever topic you're attacking. Speak to that aspiring writer. Let them know just because we write fiction, just can't write it all willy-nilly. Give them some advice, Jackson.
Right. One thing I like to tell, first of all, you need to know your craft, because writing, even if it's full-time, part-time, you need to know what you want to write. Do you want to write fiction? Do you want to write nonfiction? And if you want to write romance, make sure you know the romance genre. Everybody who say I write romance is not writing romance, okay? Romance, there is a technique to writing romance. There is a formula to writing romance. Romance always have a HEA, happily ever after. A lot of people, a lot of movies I see, they say this is a romance movie. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not really a romance movie. But a lot of other type of books, they want to say romance, but it's not romance. So you need to know the genre. You need to know what's a happy ending versus a satisfied ending. If it's a satisfied ending, it could be a beautiful love story. If it's satisfied ending, it's women fiction. That's when everything can happen in women fiction. So people need writers. And another thing you do is always call yourself a writer. You could be an aspiring writer, a wannabe. In your heart, you're still a writer. If someone come up to me and say, I'm an aspiring writer, I say, have you written anything? Yes, I just haven't gotten it published. Doesn't matter. You're still a writer. Once you start putting things on paper, on your computer, you're still a writer. And you need to think of yourself as a writer, not a, don't define what you are. Don't let anyone else define what you are. You say that you are a writer. Know the craft, know what category you want to write in. Write every day. Even if you only write one line, get your mind conditioned to write every day. That's how I wrote all those books while I was still working full time, because I couldn't think of it as a job. I had a job. I thought it as a hobby, but it was a hobby that could pay me extra money. I could send my kids to Ivy League colleges. I saw the potential in me writing. Plus, it was my escape. I created people that you grew to love. And my husband would say I was in management at State Farm, and I couldn't get my people who I was over as I supervised could do anything I wanted them to do when I wanted them to do it. But I could come home and then I could create this universe of the Medeiros family, the Westmoreland, and they did what I want them to do because I was their creator. So that was my outlet, and that was probably true.
Now, you know, I told you that how much I was in love with True Love.
Yes.
Oh, that was
Nicholas Chenault.
Right. Yes. Shyla. Oh yes. Oh yes. Don't talk. Ooh. But then, you know, I fell in love with Justin Medeiros, all of his brothers. I mean, I really feel like I was a part of the Medeiros family. And I'm not the only one who felt that way. Then the Westmorelands came along. I feel like I was a Westmoreland. You have the ability to get us caught up into the tapestry, just weave us into it and pull us in. And I think that's a gift from God. I really, really do.
Thank you. Thank you. And I guess because I come from a large family on both sides, on my father's side and on my mom's side. So I have cousins, no matter, probably in every 50 state, I have a relative. So that's good. So when you're traveling, you know you have a relative you can say hi to or whatever. But that's also good information when you want to create a family, because you create real people. I think there's somebody that if you say who this person reminded you of in your family, I could tell you who that person is. They may not know it, but I know they motivated me or influenced me when I wrote that character. The camaraderie between the family, the closeness of the family. That's my family. So I'm able to pull that together. And that's why I do it, because of my family.
Now I have to ask you, Miss Brenda, you're a woman of a certain age, and you write some pretty hot love scenes.
Yeah.
Are we writing from experience, research, or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. A little bit of both. A little bit of both. You know, and I'm proud to say, you know, I've only had one guy my whole life, Gerald. We grew up together. He was 2 years older than I. But I wanted to, because I'm a romantic, and I always told Gerald, if you marry me, and I was 19 when I got married, but I was reading love stories. Even then, you know, how you read your mom's true confession that she kept up under her mattress and all of that. So I used to always tell Gerald, I don't know nothing. You have to teach me everything. So we taught each other, but we always said our love life would be an adventure. It would be an adventure. And we made it an adventure. And so a lot of the stuff, Gerald had a t-shirt, which I think maybe once he wore out, said, I'm my wife's research. That's what he said. You know, he only wore it out once or twice, but a couple of times he was surprised by some of the things I wrote. Because he would say, you know, the guys at work would ask him, say, man, what's going on in you and your wife's shower at home? And he said, Brenda, what are you telling these people in these books? So some of it got embellished because you embellish a lot. And then, you know, I started getting all these journals, but in order for me to put it on paper, I had to make sure it worked, and stuff. So Mr. Jackson was a happy man. Let's put it that way.
Did you all hear that in the back? Mr. Jackson was a happy man.
Yes, he was.
And
I was a happy woman, yes. And I tell women, you have to, variety is the spice of life. Nothing wrong with reading books. And if nothing, know that a man likes to see you look feminine. I always wanted to look feminine. And women say, well, he won't notice me because he paid more attention to his football game. I'm like, honey, if you do it right, he will cut that football game off. He will notice you, okay?
I agree. Amen. Amen. So Ms. Jackson,
yes.
Now that we know the secret that Mr. Jackson was your research,
yes,
we appreciate that. Because I always wanted to ask you that. Never thought I would have the opportunity.
Yes.
But here we are. Here we are. Okay, so let's talk about your upcoming project, Entangled Pursuits.
Oh, guys, that is so near and dear to my heart because I started off with the Grangers. And, the Grangers was Brother's Honor, A Man Promise, A Lover's Vow, and Captivated by Love. And from there, I had to spin off of the Protectors. Those three guys that protected Shepard's son, Jace, Caden, and Dalton. Their series was the spinoff, The Protectors, Stryker, Quasar, and Stonewall. So, in just doing that, I know Shepard Granger was such a wonderful man. If you read the series, you know how he took these men who got into trouble, who had gotten into trouble while confined, they was put in prison. And some of them was innocent, some of them went there for reasons, but through there, he got them to see there's a life outside of these prison walls. You need to strive to get out of here and make yourselves good citizens, which they did. So the other books, the Men of Action series, those are books of men that I introduced either through the Grangers or the Protectors, who were friends or both of all of them. So now I'm writing their stories. And Entangled Pursuits is about Andrew Logan, who was also in prison with Shepard, like a father figure to him. They're friends with Stryker, Stonewall, and Quasar. So when you go back and read the Grangers and the Protectors, you'll become familiar with Andrew. So I'm looking forward to Andrew. It's a type story I love, a reunited second chance story, and I like those.
Okay, now I know you have two sons, so I know that you couldn't pick between your sons who's your favorite. And I'm sure it's equally as difficult in selecting a favorite book. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to break it down in categories, and you just tell me, a little bit.
Okay.
So if you had to pick a favorite member of the Medeiros family or the favorite book out of that series,
I would have to say Justin, because that was the first one. Justin was my baby, Justin and Lawrence. But after Justin, if you say no, Justin's going to be your favorite because of this. What other? I would have to say Ashton Sinclair. Ashton Sinclair.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And I'll say Sir Drake, they're equal. They were both intense men. And so I love both those in the Medeiros of their friends. Of the Medeiros, Justin. Of the friends section of the Medeiros, equally Ashton Sinclair and Sir Drake Warren.
Okay, they both were Marines, right? Ashton
Yes.
Right, and Ashton he was Native American, right?
Ashton was Native American, that's correct. He was Native American, part Native American, right.
Okay, let's go to the Westmorelands. Who's your favorite Westmoreland?
Bane Westmoreland. Because I saw Bane grow up.
Okay.
Delaney, of course, is one of my favorites, because she was the first. But of
Yeah.
all the Westmoreland, I love myself some Bane Westmoreland. He was the bad boy. And in the end, Bane was still the bad boy. He was a more disciplined bad boy. And he never lost sight that his true love was Crystal. And it reminded me of me and my husband's story, how we dated. Granted, we didn't have the family interference and all of that like Bane and Crystal had, but how they loved each other from the time they were teens all the way through. I just love telling stories like that. So Bane is my favorite Westmoreland.
Now, let's talk briefly about the movie. One of your books was turned into a movie. Tell the audience about that, for those who don't know.
Okay, one of the Rangers book. Well, I'm doing the Medeiros books under my own company. I did Trask Maxwell book, True Everlasting, under the Medeiros Entertainment Film Company, and Five Alive, that's my son's film company. BET did a Medeiros book, One Special Moment, different from the book, but they still did it. My goal is to one day remake that book, remake that movie, the way it closer to the book. Recently, Passion Flick made a movie out of my Grangers. They got I got a 3-book movie deal of the Grangers, which is A Brother's Honor, A Man Promise, and A Lover's Vow. And the reason they didn't do the 4th one, because I hadn't written the 4th book then. I was in the process. So I may pitch the 4th book to them, which is the Daddy book, Shepherd Granger's book. But they are going to do the 3. They've already done the 1st. And if you go to passionflick.com and sign up, it's a streaming service, you can see book 1. And one reason I love working with Passion Flick is because they promised to make the movie like the book, and they did. I was on the movie set every single day. I approved the script. I selected the actors and actresses that I wanted. I submitted. They took my first choice on everything. It was wonderful. It was wonderful working with them.
Great. Well, I hate to have to let you go, because I could sit here and talk to you all day long, because you are the queen, and I respect your work, and it has inspired me. It's entertained me, got me through some hard times, and anybody who has had a bad experience with love, they can kind of get their mojo back if they read a Brenda Jackson book. They'll want to get back out there and try again, because that's just what your writing does for people. And we so appreciate it. Now, let me ask you this before I let you go. I always tease my son. I said, Solomon, when I'm 95, in my wheelchair, in between you changing my pen and giving me my Jell-O and my meds, I will still be writing. Does that sound like something that you ascribe to, that you're going to write until you can?
I'm up to 135. I could see me hitting 150 within a few years. And I mean, I was only supposed to write 10 books. And I was just doing it. Remember, I'm just State Farm. But my writing career took off. I ended up retiring. And when I reached 100 books, I had a big celebration. Readers came here. We had a huge party in my hometown. And I could see me doing the same thing, Lord's willing, for the 150th book, for the 200th book, for the 250th book. So as long as I have a good mind, it's romance, I'm good.
So y'all heard her say she's going to write forever. Now, when you hit that 150, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I'm kind of going to invite myself to that party.
Okay.
Can I
sure
get that
can.
invite and
You
bring,
sure
and can we, the Chocolate Divas, come along? We'll bring you a good presence.
I want all my readers. I always want, that's why I do my cruises every 2 years, every odd year. I go somewhere with my readers. 300 of my readers, first 300 to sign up, we go somewhere together and we have a good time.
Well, we're going to try to be on that next one. We know it'll be next year because of COVID, and it's just, and I saw that you were alerting your readers that the cruise was going to be, So I'm going to try to be on that cruise. I think
Carnival canceled the cruise until 23, but that's good because that's when I turned 70. So we going for my birthday, and 2023 I will be 70. I'm not ashamed of my age. So hey, that's good. But if I'm living in 2023, that's a blessing. That is a blessing.
I hope you'll be living. I think you will, because I think you have so much more to offer the world.
Thank you.
Through your books, through your cruises, through the movies. I think you're just a jewel. I think that God created you to write.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, social media, Al's Pals, wasn't it a pleasure to have the Queen of Black Romance on the show? Show her some love as she leaves. Look her up, Miss Brenda Jackson. If you never heard, I don't see how you can. You must be from another planet. But if you are a reader and you love romance at its finest, Miss Brenda Jackson, the Queen of Black Romance, is your author.
Hi, I'm Brenda Jackson. They call me the Queen of Romance, a title I am honored to wear. And on the screen, you're going to see how you can contact me at the various social media platforms. Please contact me. I would love hearing from you. Thank you. Bye.
God bless you, Miss Jackson.
Thank you.
Have a home here at the Absolutely Al Show. Whenever something comes up that you want us to know about and that you want to bounce off our platform,
okay,
give me a call.
I will. I got you. You are in my phone.
Thank you so much. I never thought I would hear you say that, but thank you, Jesus. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
It's Brenda Jackson, y'all. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.
Bye-bye.
Man, I enjoyed myself because I was talking some royalty. They even made me feel a little royal. Thank you so much, Miss Brenda Jackson, Miss Pamela Samuels Young, and Miss Wahida Clark, the queens, the Nubian Queens of Literature, for stopping by the Absolutely Al Show and blessing us and sharing their stories, experience, and wisdom. Any aspiring author should be giddy, just like I am. I'm 15 books into the game. I gotta also thank my special friends, my book husband, Mr. Robert White, and my book girlfriend, Miss Diane Rembert, our book bosses. Thank you all so much for coming to bless us and to tell us about some good books.
Next week on the Absolutely Al Show, the Chocolate Diva Factory will be pushing power to the polls. We'll have Mr. Clifford Whitby, Macon-Bibb County, Georgia's mayoral candidate and friend to our show. Also, Miss Adrienne Love, Dublin, Georgia's district attorney candidate. Miss Erica Bettis Williams, Houston County, Georgia's district attorney candidate. Also from Houston County, Miss Angela King Anderson, who is running for Superior Court Clerk. And last but not least, Miss Murtis Champion Johnson, my 6th grade teacher, is running for the Bibb County School Board District 2. Remember, your vote is your power. So meet us here next week to learn more about these candidates so you can make an informed choice at the polls.
Absolutely. See you next week. Same
That
time,
Al is one
same
foxy
place.
gal.
Here on Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Absolutely.
She's a boss, and that ain't no floss, cause she's dripping with that spicy Al sauce. Wife, mother of a baby boy, and after 14 years, she's still a greatest boy.
That's right,
Brilliant,
baby.
resilient, passionate, and savvy. Ooh, that Al is such a baddie. Singer-songwriter, political fighter, trendsetter, ain't nobody better.
She's smooth, she's cool, breaks all the rules.
Show do, y'all.
Joyous.